do a lot. I think you should niche it down a little bit. If you do everything to everyone, you'll never be sort of master of one thing.
I know, I can't. I wouldn't advise this to any of my clients, but for me, it's different.
I totally agree with everything you've just said.
For me, it's the other way around.
Have you tried doing one just talking to camera?
No.
I do practice what I preach, and I hate it.
I literally don't know. Depends on the day.
I think you're missing a trick.
But then I change my mind and I don't like that post anymore, or I want to push it further. I feel like I want to be in control somehow.
You're a control freak. I wouldn't give a hoot.
I'm trying to be more like you though.
Some of the things that I could say to you to do, you won't do.
Like what?
Emailing every single agency owner within 20 miles of you and telling them how good you are. You should, but you won't do it.
I agree, and I agree.
There you go.
This is actually a sign. I need to do it.
I know there'll be agency owners in Derby who need you.
It's a good idea. I should do that.
Cristina, welcome to In the Comments.
Hi, thank you for having me.
That's my pleasure. So we always start with who are you, what your business is, and why you're here.
Okay, so Cristina is my name. I'm here because I saw your post and I thought it's very interesting. So great opportunity. Why not apply? Thank you for choosing me, by the way. What I'm doing. So at the moment, social media, content creation, and phone photography workshops and masterclasses for business and personal brands. In a few words, but we can expand on that later, I guess.
We can. So, when I was reading your application form, and actually when you were saying then about you do social media workshops and we'll go on to your socials a little bit later, but aesthetically, your Instagram is stunning.
Oh, thank you.
It's very, very good, isn't it? You know, your website's cool. It's very, very good. So, but when you look at one of your objectives was to get to a certain amount of followers on LinkedIn, wasn't it? That was one of your objectives. Now, my question would be is why do you think LinkedIn is your primary platform to, I'm assuming, and we'll go on to your objectives, to win business? Is that why you're on LinkedIn?
Yes. So first of all, what you said, but that's tied with brand awareness because in general, my target audience, it's on LinkedIn. I'm aiming at businesses and personal brands. Although some of them are on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that, of course, I feel like people are scrolling there more in their free time, not really looking for business. You might have a few accounts that you are following for the purpose of, I don't know, different information, stuff that might help you in your business. But I feel like LinkedIn, it's more the platform for that. And because I'm just one person team, it was easier to focus on LinkedIn only and keep my Instagram as a, let's say, sort of a personal diary. Sharing more of the photos I like are more creative, but don't necessarily have any connection to businesses.
Yeah. LinkedIn is, and for what you do, is perfect. That's where your audience is. I think one of the challenges, and again, when I was looking at your application form and then looking at your accounts, is what do you do? Is that niching down? I know you sort of put this in here, but when you're a solopreneur, which is what you are, and you're a small team, it's really hard. And we had a guest on just a minute ago. They're a 5-man team, a recruitment firm, and they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram, they're on Facebook, they're on LinkedIn, like all of them. The dream, but they can't keep up with them all. And what
Even
they're doing,
with 5 people.
Yeah,
okay,
they can't.
I can't with one.
You can't with one. It's absolutely, it is impossible. It's really, really hard. And something that, my advice, and this is for big and small brands, is you've only got so many hours in a day. Where can you get your best bang for your buck when it comes to time? And I think with yourself is LinkedIn should be your focus in terms of lead generation, which I know you put brand awareness in terms of your objective. I would like you to look at it more from a lead generation perspective in terms of sales. Brand awareness is brilliant, but actually when it comes to putting food on the table, whatever line of work we're in, it needs to be a sale or a lead generation campaign. We need to get people in to the door to at least have that conversation. So I think something I would love you to take away today is looking at, okay, I'm doing all this stuff, which is amazing brand awareness. And actually something you put one thing in here, which I was amazed at, which is what we spoke about Ben with earlier. is changing your mindset to, okay, we're doing all this brand awareness, but am I actually generating any revenue? Because if we're not, is there any point?
Yeah.
And that's what I really like. That's everything I look at is always commercially, especially when you're spending time, because time is money on the rest of it. So you're looking at LinkedIn, which is fine at the moment. How are you finding LinkedIn, and how are you structuring your posts on LinkedIn at the moment?
I'm still in that phase of testing, mainly in terms of visuals, and then seeing what sort of copy works. Weirdly enough, I know people are all banging on about videos being pushed to a lot of audiences and stuff. For me, that's the lowest reach. Probably because I started with visuals, so people are expecting more from that, or LinkedIn as a platform is expecting more from that. But I'm still testing a few, like carousels and PDFs, and then videos as well, short videos, sort of like reels. So yeah, I'm still in the testing phase in terms of that. However, I know the content I'm posting is a lot of tips and tricks because I'm aware. Well, let's say so. I focused on phone photography for a reason, because I know a lot of small businesses can't really, don't have the budget at the moment, at least, to invest, or think that's not something they want to do at the beginning. It's not important. They're focused more on getting leads through ads or some other way. So knowing that what they can do with their phones, I think it's quite beneficial for small businesses. And then bigger businesses who want their employees to generate content for them. I know it's a trend. More and more businesses are jumping on this trend. So it's sort of like my content means to help this type of person, first of all. Then I have my shouting about what I've done. I know I don't really like that, but funny enough, that's the one that has the most reach and engagement, and it feels weird sometimes. But yeah, that's another content. And I'm trying to implement storytelling and copywriting as well, because I'm doing visual storytelling. I know that works. I'm doing it in my blogs all over the website. So I'm implementing that into the LinkedIn content with the tips included as well.
I totally agree with everything you've just said. Totally agree. It's weird that you put, I put a lot of video out, and some are fine, some get zero traction at all. Zero. And I sit there and go, why is this? It was interesting that you were already doing PDFs, because when I normally see people do carousels on LinkedIn, carousels don't get pushed out as far than PDFs. But then you look at some data, it does. But I've seen on the majority accounts that I know of, PDFs are being pushed out further. So the fact you're already doing that.
For me, it's the other way around.
Okay.
Carousels is the most pushed.
But you've tested it recently, haven't you? Because I saw that on your LinkedIn.
Yeah, with the PDFs.
Yeah.
So it goes videos, PDFs, and then carousels.
Okay.
Or single images.
Single images are great, but when you're doing your tips, because I saw the carousel, I thought, okay, that's great. Actually, because we've, I'm doing a lot of carousels and I'm just not getting any reach. I've moved it to PDFs and seen it spike completely.
Okay.
But this is the thing with LinkedIn and all platforms, is that it's not one size fits all.
No.
Whereas again, you're saying, what I would say with yours is that I would look at more in terms of the content, in terms of sort of speaking to your audience more. So your personal brand stuff is amazing, and I'd continue to do that, because clearly we know what LinkedIn does. LinkedIn loves it, and it will push it out further and further and further, annoyingly, but it does. When it comes to your other type of content, you mentioned the phone, using your mobile phone. Now, I used to bang on the drum about this to all my clients. No one has any excuses anymore, because you've got a phone. Like, everyone has a phone with really, really good cameras. Everyone can be using them, whether it be employees or business owners, whomever. When I looked at your LinkedIn, and when you spoke at the beginning in terms of what you do a lot. I think you should niche it down a little bit.
Yeah. I tried lately.
Okay.
So I'm still having like the pillars of phone photography, visual storytelling in general, and personal stories. I'm just keeping these three. Although phone photography includes the same visual tips as well. But yeah.
Because I would have a bullet hole in. So if you think of it from a sales perspective, so if you do everything to everyone, you'll never be sort of master of one thing. It's always the way. But if you could be the mobile phone genius or legend or some hero, in terms of digital. Once you're in the business and you're doing a workshop with their team, you can then talk about your social media. You can then talk about other stuff you do, but it's that bullet hole into the business. And obviously, it's always typically the lowest priced item in your arsenal. So it might be that your workshop is your lowest priced item, or a free guide maybe. That's your bullet hole into the business, and then you open up the rest of your skill set and your the rest you do, and then you've got a client that's not spending 200 quid, they're spending $1,000 or 3,000 or 4,000. So I would definitely look at that when it came to yours, because that's when I was looking at your objectives. Obviously, you said about the brand awareness. I think the two objectives that you should be looking at LinkedIn is getting the right ICP. So in terms of your audience, are you looking at business owners? Because obviously you do the personal brand stuff. Is it business owners? Is it marketing managers? Is it social media managers? Or is it all three?
Well, it's kind of all three, just because it depends who the business is using for that area, So like if it's a bigger business, of course they have like a marketing director. If it's just one person team, as I am, like a small personal brand, it will just be directly the founder. So it's the person who does the marketing. Yeah.
I would go after the founders for you.
Yeah.
I think you nail it, personally. I think if you niche down to one, like for example, like the mobile phone is one that I don't think enough people have still mastered. And everyone's got one. Like, there's no, like, everyone's got a phone and can produce content, especially video content, which is something I bang the drum about all the time. And so few people still do it, but they've got no excuse.
It's that weird feeling of being in front of the camera, right? I mean, I'm still feeling weird now as we speak. I like being behind the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I completely agree. That's why I created the workshops and everything. And although they are like focused on photography, the tricks can be applied to video. It's just going into another side of the camera and pressing a different button in a way. But what I'm trying to tell them is how to like structure the composition and stuff like that, and how to make it look more unique, stand out from the crowd. That's all I'm about, really. But yeah, I agree. Now depends on the platform and the profile. As I said, for me, videos don't work. So,
I think they could though. I think they could longer term. I think you maybe
I do more.
If you did more of them, and the ones the only ones that we saw were your the podcast interviews. Okay, I didn't see any. Quote me if I don't know. You may have done. I've just missed them. But have you just maybe?
I think I posted them after we discussed. So probably that's why. They are more creative. I think they are more Instagram style, sort of. So probably that's why. However, the reach, it's not even close to the...
Have you tried doing one just talking to camera?
No. No. I'll use the podcast ones because I have a lot to go through from the other podcast as well. But just me doing that, I feel like it's easier for me in writing. For some people, it might be easier to, like instead of watch, I know I can add captions, but might be easier to read the caption, like the copy of the post, I mean. So I think I'll stick to text for a while.
So obviously everyone's got to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And, even when I look at some of my old clients, there's some would never get behind camera, like not in a million years. They would never do it, have no interest in doing it. Even though they'd be amazing at it, they just didn't want to do it. And as I said to them, and I'll say to you, is that although, and to be fair, I wasn't overly keen in the day, but you sort of just have to get used to it, don't you? People now absorb short form content. Yes. Look at Instagram, look at TikTok, it's just been pushed entirely. And I think you'd be really good on camera. So you should longer term try it.
Do you do these videos just yourself talking to the camera? Because this is different what we do now.
No.
For this.
Yeah.
Just okay.
Yeah, no, we do it.
I thought I'll catch you.
No. I literally practice what I preach. Whatever I tell a client to do. So we've got a few TikTok channels, and I always say to my clients, look, even if they're creating a load of content, just create a TikTok channel and just repurpose that content for that. Yeah. Because if someone sees it, you're omnipresent, which is great if you've got the content. So we created one. We don't get many views on it, but old clients are like, okay, you're doing it. I'm like, well, yeah, I can't tell you to do it and me not do it myself. So I do
Yeah.
I do practice what I preach, and I hate it because when I was doing one on the way to here today, on the just in the park, just like talking,
Yeah.
I look like a Berg.
It's weird to watch it back, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would be so like critic myself a lot, probably, and then do another
Well, I've
take
got
and
him.
another take and another take. Just
He
I
critiques.
do it.
Yeah, all he does is critique me all day. It's rubbish.
You pick up like the ways you talk as well. If you always have like a phrase that you say, you realise, oh my god, I say that all the time.
It's
oh
rubbish.
yes, I noticed that with my videos at some. I can't remember where. Anyway, yeah, I noticed at some point, and I was like, "Oh, I said that a million times." Like, but yeah,
But you should definitely try it. Try it. Like I know the blog's a thing. Or what you could do is, because I'm just trying to think in terms of, I'll always think of this as acquisition. So how can I get more customers? So forget the reach. That's what I'm trying to get you here is more customers.
yes,
I think you could play on that you don't like getting on camera. Not play on it, just be honest. And just
Yeah.
do a post on LinkedIn saying, I've written this post because I wanted to get on camera, but realised I just can't do it. And then send people to your blog. And that's a way then to get them into your blog,
yes,
potentially. So, but really be, really sort of candid and honest about, you don't like getting on camera.
That's relatable as well for people.
It is relatable.
yeah. I think I only said it when I posted the podcast, just because, well, it made sense. But with what I preach, I mean, photography, I tend to show my photography, and that seems to get the most engagement anyway. I know I can like edit videos and show the photos in the videos, but that would take more time on my side as well. I'm not ruling it out, of course. But yeah.
Time's the problem. This is the issue.
Yeah.
When I was looking at your application form, you mentioned around you don't have enough time.
Yeah.
And you want to, but you don't want it to become a chore.
Yeah.
So what did you mean by that?
I mean, I'm still having fun with posting on my social media, and I wanted to keep that way because, well, if one of the skills of mine that it's like the top one, it's of course creativity. So I'm using that when creating my content more than when creating content for clients, just because I have more freedom. It's more my style. That's why on Instagram I'm keeping everything as I want. That's why it was hard to niche down as well.
We did, because
yeah.
we saw some really nice, on your website, you've got some really good product imagery.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful, isn't it? Like, it's so
you.
nice. And I said to Michael, well, you could niche down to just in product imagery.
I know, I can't. I can't just pick one. I know I wouldn't advise this to any of my clients. It's so weird, but for me, it's different because I'm like, well, I like doing that very much. But if I have to pick from two, I literally don't know. Depends on the day, depends on how I feel, but I still like both of them the same way. Like, let's say between an event and a product shoot, they're so different. I like them the same.
The product, like I said, the product
I
stuff
could
we
do like
saw.
different accounts, I know, but that's even more work. I tried on
no.
Instagram. It worked really well, but like after 10 posts, I was like, I can't keep up.
No. Well, that's the problem. It's time, isn't it? It's like, there's so much time. How do you... So obviously you got the product imagery stuff, which is amazing. Personal brand, I'm assuming that's photography of people, of just owners doing about their day-to-day business. How do you at the moment find customers? How do you do that at the moment?
Well, it's social media.
Okay.
It's word of mouth. And sometimes I reach out to them. I've done that more at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think the word of mouth is the most, the one that works the best. And like going to networking events and like building that relationship first, and then seeing if they need me, they'll just reach out. I don't really need to have that selling attitude, which I don't really like. So yeah.
Have you ever do you work direct with the brands, or do you sometimes work with agencies?
It's just the brands. I tried with an agency, so they would get customers for like ads and stuff like that, but the customers don't have the visuals. They don't do the visuals, so I would produce that for them.
I think some of your product imagery, I think you're missing a trick with agencies. So for example, my agency, I used to outsource a lot of different work. It may have been like video. We used to use Luke a lot, didn't we? For all his for video. He's like a great videographer. He's got, not the stuff Michael and I do, but, proper shoots for clients. I would outsource all that because I needed the right stuff for that client. I didn't touch it. But he wouldn't have to do anything. He used to turn up. I used to pay him a load of money for it, and he used to go on his way. I think for some of your product imagery, I think you could be reaching out to marketing agencies who have an e-commerce focus and say, look, here's some of my portfolio for e-commerce brands with obviously the products. When you're in market, or you've got a client that needs some, I'd love the opportunity. I think you'd be shocked at how much work you get from that. You'd be totally shocked. There's so many agencies out there, especially with the rise of e-commerce. I think you'd absolutely, even if you got 10 jobs a year, but you do a big product shoot, they're not cheap, are they? Product shoots. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. Even just locally to you, there'll be loads of agencies in Derby. Just reach out, quick message on LinkedIn maybe, and just say, this is some ideas of what I've done. Yeah. If you've got any clients that are looking for this next year or this year, I'd love to at least quote for it. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good idea. As I said, I was doing outreach quite a bit at the beginning, but then I just thought I'll focus on the personal branding more, because I don't really want to use the business necessarily as a name and everything. I started using that actually at the beginning, and I was like, I don't really feel like it's me necessarily.
But
so
why?
now I'm just resharing from the business account, basically.
Yeah, business accounts are like
It's like sharing the same post on a business account and a personal profile. You would be surprised how well it would perform on the personal one. And to be honest, there's no surprise. I mean, do you buy from the person or the company in general if you just put them side on side? Yeah.
Especially for what you do. It's so visual. It's like Luke at Unique. He, his brand is, although he's got a cool brand, it's all about Luke. Luke and behind the camera. That's where it really comes from.
Yeah.
Scheduling tools. I'm really intrigued by this. So on your application, you said that you used to use them for clients, or you've used them in the past.
Yeah.
But you don't use them for you.
Yes.
What? But you haven't got time to always post. So my question is, why don't you like them?
I might change my mind. So if I schedule something and then something else happened meanwhile, it's a whole other job to go there, reschedule, create a new one and stuff like that. So I tend to do like reactive posting usually. So if an idea comes to me and it matches with sort of like my schedule of posting, I create that with a night before, for example, or even during that day. And then I post. I'm trying to post sort of at the same time usually. But yeah, I prefer to do that myself. And I spend a bit of time of like, I don't know, not necessarily engaging with content as, some people say this is what you have to do and stuff like that to grow. But I just do it because I like my network. Most of the people are there. I know them. At least the ones are coming up on my feed. So I'm interested in what they say. I'm interested to learn from them. So it's a good way to have that LinkedIn time of like literally authentic engagement and post my content at the same time. I tried with scheduling, but yeah, I don't know. It wasn't much of a difference, I would say, in terms of saving time necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love scheduling tools. Although the platforms don't like them, and I know that because of the data behind them, if you're struggling to post, like on yours, you said you sometimes struggle in terms of time. If you are struggling, my recommendation would be to at least have one, even if it's just one a week going out. If you were really struggling for time.
But it's the time of creating the content, not necessarily taking time to post it.
But you could bulk, couldn't you? You could do like 2 weeks in advance, so you're always ahead.
But then I change my mind and I don't like that post anymore, or I want to push it further. So I create a new one anyway. So I'm spending that time anyway.
But you won't know. You'll forget what it is. I don't know half the stuff that goes out of mine.
Yeah. I don't really... I feel like I want to be in control somehow.
You're a control freak.
That's why. That's why probably. That's one reason. But Yeah, I tried. I know what you mean with the platform not really liking it. I noticed the reach was lower.
Yeah, it's not a huge. It's not a huge amount. So like LinkedIn,
not necessarily
Yeah,
huge,
LinkedIn, you can schedule now within app, which helps.
I know. I struggle to find it. I scheduled it and I was like, where can I find it if I want to edit it?
Oh, it's easy.
I can't remember if I.
Michael, go to. So we'll actually go through your link. So what we always do, we review your LinkedIn. So let's just go through your LinkedIn because I'm. If you go on Christina's actual page, just profile, please. So
We look so bluish here.
Yeah.
So weird from screen to screen.
no, yeah.
My forever problem with editing photos, and then I'm seeing it on my phone or on my tablet. I'm like, it's completely different from what I had in mind. But yeah, okay.
So your LinkedIn profile
Yes.
is very, very good.
Thank you. I
It's an-
appreciate
it's an-
that.
You've got the last guy we had on didn't have a banner. It was empty. Your photo is very good. Yeah, it's very good.
Explains what you do in the banner.
Yes, thank you. It took me a few tries to get to that one. Again, making up my mind. That didn't. It took a while.
No, it's good. It's really
Not gonna lie.
no, it's really good. So if you scroll down, scroll down. So you're posting a bit, which is good. Scroll down. It's fair. Again, you've got your skill sets there, which is great. All of this is fine. So actually, in terms of your profile, is absolutely perfect. Is how it should be, which is great. Now, something you mentioned, if you go up, Michael, to the there you go, just sit on the posts and stuff there. So when you're scrolling through LinkedIn every day, like we all do, and I know you mentioned it a second ago about people saying about commenting and stuff. So I've grown my LinkedIn from 2,000 to just over 10,000 in less than a year. And the vast majority of that is down to me commenting on other people's posts. And I thought it was nonsense. I didn't believe it, okay?
Oh no, I agree.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like it's weirdly, like I said to so I hit 10,000 last week. I've already had like 200 since then of people asking to follow, even though I've had a few today. I'm like, how is this coming off? Now, I'll be out quite candid here. I've got someone doing it for me, okay? So she'll comment as if it's me, which is fine. But still, if you're on LinkedIn and you're scrolling anyway, just commenting 4 or 5 words, oh, this looks amazing, whatever it did, you'll see so much more interaction because the algorithm is going to pick that up more. So even though you're not posting as much, what you could do if you're really struggling for time is post less, but engage more.
Yeah. I completely agree. I'm just trying to write something meaningful if I can. Sometimes it's just, this is great, like literally nothing else comes up in my mind just because I'm like literally feeling that and have no comments. I'm doing that. There are a lot of great posts actually online, and I feel like if you comment more, then more of like similar posts from other people would come up, so you have even more to engage with and so on. So yeah, that's definitely one of the strategies.
I think because I can tell that you're such an artistic person. Because why? Because this is me. Me and Michael have this debate a lot. So Michael wants everything to be perfect. Is that the right way?
Sort of, yeah. It's like quite precious of.
Michael's very precious about like certain things.
I understand you.
Okay. And I'm like, just it's fine. Just get it out. The more, the better. You're Michael. Like you are Michael.
Well, my mom is called sort of like Michael, but in Romanian, the female version. So,
like very. Yes. So you don't want to like if you were going to make a comment, you'd make sure it was articulate. It was right. Yes. Like you'd be all over that. Yeah. I wouldn't give a hoot. Like top man. All that stuff. Like I'm
trying to be more like you though. But yeah, no, it's not me. It feels weird sometimes. So I'm trying a balance actually.
The hard thing with LinkedIn, and actually we're very LinkedIn centric the last 2 episodes, is it's a different world. LinkedIn, it's a different planet to the real world. LinkedIn, it's on a different level altogether.
Yes, I think I know what you mean, but explain.
It's nuts. Because your persona on LinkedIn is different to your real. Like I on LinkedIn am not totally different because I'm quite like just sort of say it as it is. But like some of the nonsense you see on LinkedIn is not the real person. but it goes really well.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know. I actually heard recently that people are like faking posts and how much they made, or like screenshotting conversation with their friends that they asked to.
Yeah, it's a load of
I wasn't aware of that. I was so shocked when I saw those posts, like saying that. I was like, really? And now I'm wondering. I feel like I'm the only one that's just being.
No, I think the vast majority of people think like you do. Because you're a nice person and you're like, no, but it's true.
They're playing the game.
The problem is they're playing this game and it's so bad because
Is it working though? I feel like
it's working for engagement. It's not working for sales. And this is why I get very frustrated, because it's like we're looking at these people that got loads of engagement.
Yeah.
They're getting no sales from it.
I heard about community of like engagement and you
Engagement
send your
pods, yeah.
post. It's like, is this a real thing? I knew about these on Instagram, but
Yeah, so you put it in there and everyone likes it. It's pointless. It doesn't help the algorithm. It's not engaging you at all.
yeah,
Or it's not engaging the right audience.
yeah.
So this is
For
why,
sure.
when I looked at, when I was looking at your application form, it's like you've got your product's incredible, yeah? The stuff you do is amazing. It's like your Instagram is stunning, right? Pull up Christina's Instagram. But this is amazing. Like, look how cool this is.
I would actually want to edit every photo differently, but I'm just trying to have a style.
Don't edit it. It looks really good, all right? You're fine. You're more than fine. This is incredible. But this is really, really good stuff. Like, this is amazing. Now, that's real. Yeah, you're really behind that. The stuff we see on LinkedIn is all fabricated. It's just noise. Like, it's utter madness. But no, these pods and all this stuff that goes on, it's absolutely mad. But this is stunning. If someone wants a photographer, send them to this and go, look at my stuff.
Oh, that's
and
a
they'll
great
book you.
compliment. Thank you.
They'll book you straight away. Did you do all this on a phone?
No, not all of them. No.
Can you? How many did you do on a phone?
So the one in the middle with the volcanoes.
This one?
Yeah. That's with the phone.
It's like the mountain around it, Michael.
All of them at the beginning. So like the one with the building as well in the middle.
This one.
Yeah. That was easier to capture with the phone actually than with the camera, believe it or not, because of the lens you are using.
Okay, there you go. Right. So
Yes. So I started only sharing my phone shots at the beginning. It was called CS Mobile Shots. Instagram doesn't really like me because I changed it so many times from title, name, description to what I'm posting. So yeah, I just post when I want. The engagement is still great. So that's actually proving the
On
power
Instagram.
of visuals.
On Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
just on there.
Instagram's very good.
Thank you.
It's very, very good. Well, I was quite shocked when I saw it. No, because it's nice. Like, we see some people in its pants. Like, we had the last guy that was on his TikTok, told him to shut it off. It's crap.
Delete it.
Just delete it. Honestly, it was so bad. Like, it was awful. Just stop. Stop
I need to
now.
watch that podcast.
Oh, it's pants. It was so bad. It was so. So this stuff is amazing. This is your case study. Yeah, this is the issue. You should be sending people to this. Okay, if anyone's got an inquiry, send them and show them what you're doing, because this stuff's really, really good. And especially if you're selling the mobile phone, which I think you should really look at as a real big opportunity there, which is no one wants a photographer because they're too expensive. Actually, let me show you how you can use your phone.
I still didn't launch it like properly on LinkedIn, the masterclass. I'm doing workshops as I'm literally going in the office, and it's bespoke for every company's needs. But the masterclass, it kind of covers everything for anyone. Like it's the theory.
How much is the
basically.
masterclass?
In terms of
Money.
I'm not really sure yet. Just because I'm doing lifetime access and 3 monthly sessions included of feedback.
Okay.
So I think it will be just over 100.
Oh, okay. That's yeah.
But yeah, no, it's
That's really
quite
cheap.
a low ticket. Yeah,
Yeah, that's like so cheap.
Yeah,
So cheap.
but that's covering everything for everyone.
Okay.
Basically.
Yeah, because you could get like there's so many people that need good photography. Like every brand, every business in the UK needs better visuals.
Yeah,
You know?
you know when someone goes to an event and basically they snap a few shots, but they're all like
Selfies, that.
like this or
Yeah.
or their camera, and I can't stress this enough, when they don't wipe the camera and it's all blurry, and then you go home and you watch, where are the colors? Like, my camera is bad. No, it's not. Clean it a bit and you'll see a massive difference. But yeah, that's a very weird,
That's a tip,
easy
though.
trick.
There you go. There's your trick.
Yeah, no. I posted about this as well. Yeah, I'm posting about all of them. It's basically either you want to scroll through my feed and spend how much time you want figuring it out and putting it all on a paper or document and then using it, or getting the masterclass and you have them all in one place with just like, I don't know, around an hour of video, but you have worksheets and stuff like that as well.
Where are you hosting that?
Stan Store.
Okay. Have you heard of something called School?
No.
SKOOL. Put that on the crib sheet, Michael. So it's where obviously Facebook groups were huge, weren't they? You know, a lot of people are. They still are, absolutely. A lot of people are moving away from Facebook groups because you're not able to do, you know, you can't do certain things on there, like host certain like classes and obviously documentation on there. So something called School, which is something Alex Hormozy in America. You'll know him if you saw his face. He created School. It's where you can build your communities within there. And when I was reading through the application form, I thought there's a real need there for a community of, again, business owners or social media managers or marketing managers who are just using their phone to create content. You know, share hints and tips on like, this is the best thing to do with, you know, all that stuff. But, you know, you're giving them weekly, you might jump onto a live once a week with them, really build that community around people.
Can you also like host the video lessons?
All it's hosted on there.
Oh, okay.
It's really, really good. But even if you weren't to use School, I still think something you should look at building as a community. You're really passionate about what you do, and some of the things that I could say to you to do, you won't do. Because it's so against your...
Like what?
Like I think you should be emailing every single and messaging every single agency owner within 20 miles of you and telling them how good you are. You should, but you won't do it.
I agree. And I agree.
There you go. But that's the fair, because like I know there'll be agency owners in Derby who need you.
Yes, probably. Yeah.
100%.
I had it on my to-do list for ages and it's still there.
It's still there.
Yeah.
But that's gonna.
This is actually a sign. I need to do it. Yes.
You should do it because I've been that person where I need like a client's come to me with a challenge, and I've then got to go and find someone. Or I ask someone, do you know someone? And then they'll pass to someone else. And I've had those experiences, and sometimes I've been really... and I'm like, oh... Whereas with your stuff, again, you've got, you know, that product, like I said, those product imagery was, like, they're really, really good. So I definitely think that's something you should do, although you probably won't do, which is absolutely fine. In terms
like
of...
I have to make a promise or something.
You don't. It's just, you know, it's going to help you. You know, that's the reality, you know.
True.
And it's, you know, a lot of the stuff that actually gets results is the stuff that no one's doing. Like, I still cold call. To this day. It's madness.
Yeah.
Very few people do it now. And most people will never cold call. Not many people could sit down and make 100 phone calls to people they've never spoke to before because they go, whoa. And it works, but it's the stuff that people aren't doing. Very few people are doing it.
What's the percentage?
Depends what day it is. If I could get... see, I'll always look at it commercially. So if I could get, let's say out of those 100 calls, I could get 10 demos and 4 of those or 5 of those become a Rupert subscriber, that's £500 revenue a month. But if I times that by a year, that's £6,000 from that one day calling. Yeah.
So you spend like a whole day just calling, basically.
Yeah, just one after the other. No, go away. No, go away. You know, but it works. But you could, you know, maybe you could do some snail mail. So you could, you know, send it in the post. Maybe, you know, again, do a bit of a template on Canva or Adobe. You know, show them some of the product work you've done, and go and or mail it to them.
Print out some photos and show
I'm
them.
actually planning to do like a poster in a few places for the masterclass.
A photo? How cool would that be? Like an actual photo?
Yeah, it will be like a photo but with text on it as well.
Yeah, but no, like an actual photo.
To do what with it?
I'd send it in the post to them and say, look, this is what I do. Like an actual photo.
That's a really cool idea.
Just right on the back of it. There you
Just
go.
right on the back of it.
My business card, it's a photo, actually.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a good idea. I should do that.
You should do that.
Yes.
So some of the questions that I wanted to ask you, and I loved one of your responses to one of them. Okay. Literally loved it. So when you looked at what you, when on the one of the questions is I asked what you measure when you look at social, and it was reach and engagement. And also sometimes they are a bit of a red herring, because sometimes you might get 500 eyeballs that see your content, but no one engages with it.
Yeah.
Now, most people would say that has failed. On the other hand, we'll go, well, you've had 500 people that LinkedIn or whichever social platform you're using has put that in front of because it's going to engage them, which is great. You then put on your application form that you went to an event and someone that you'd never spoke to before, or you tell the story.
I knew her.
Okay, you knew her?
Yeah, from previous events. But yeah, she told me she saw my posts and she really likes them. And I realized when I got back home, I don't think I ever saw her engage with anything. And that was true. But yeah, that reach means something without the engagement. I know engagement is great, and I'm all preaching for it, of course. But yeah, there are a lot of people who just scroll but don't really engage. It might be, I don't know, they have a job role that doesn't necessarily allow them to put themselves out there like that. So, or any other reason really. But it's still in front of their eyes.
I loved it because I call them lurkers. They're lurkers. They lurk in the background. They absorb your content, but they will never engage with it. Yeah. And I've got so many of them. Like I'll go to events like you have, and someone will go, "Oh, I do a lot of running, and if I finish a race, I'll put it on LinkedIn because I'm playing the game basically."
Achievement. Why not?
Well, yeah, all that stuff. But the amount of events I've been to, and people have gone, "Oh, how did your race get on?" The amount of people, and none of them have engaged with it. Yeah. None of them at all.
Yeah.
But it's amazing that actually what we see or what we've perceived as success is a lot further than that.
Yeah.
And we don't see half the stuff that goes on. And again, that's really like that there. I was like, yes, you've seen it firsthand, which is amazing.
Yeah. And I've heard people talking about it previously, but when it happened to me, I was like, yeah, it's true.
It is true, which is why, and because you're such a artistic, you love the stuff you do. I would probably say you could do more, but you don't want to because you don't want to affect the quality. But anybody else wouldn't see a difference in quality.
I know, I'm aware of that, but you probably know it's still in the back of your mind. Like,
try and get out of your own way. Then
are you better at it now?
Yeah, because I film myself now and just chat and stuff like that. So it's just you have to just try and be less. I get it though because it's like. You look at the Instagram, it's very curated and very like, it wouldn't look the same if it was all like, all over the shop. I get it. You have to try and just be less precious about it, really.
Yeah. It's hard. It's very hard, yes. But yeah, I'm trying to leave that perfectionism because it's stupid sometimes. And I guess no one will notice that tiny corner that it has something in the photo that I noticed and it just scratches my mind, But yeah, consistency and less perfectionism, definitely it's the way.
You could even post the stuff that you don't think's perfect and write about why you don't think it's perfect, and that'd be like relatable to people.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to post this photo, but I hate that bit in the side.
Love it. What an idea.
Yeah. That's truly a great idea. And even without writing that, posting it's still like testing. Do people actually notice it? And maybe it helps you for your next post, But yeah, definitely.
That's a good idea. You could literally do 2 photos. The one that's good and one's bad. I'll tell you now, I wouldn't know.
You know those games with like spot the difference?
Spot the difference, yes. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's such a good one. I should have a notebook and just, but
we're
I'll
writing
it
all
back,
down.
Of course. Okay.
So everyone who comes on gets a crib sheet, which is all the things that you can go away and try.
Just do it, yeah.
And try and do if you want to, but again, it's just ideas. But that one's it. I think with that particular idea is it'll move you along a little bit further in terms of actually very few people can see. You'll see, and again, like I'm the same. There's certain things, Michael, as you know, I would just not stand for.
I want to say Rupert's blue.
Like certain colours and stuff. Like I will not have it. I will the world will end if it's wrong. So I get it. But when it comes to like content in terms of pushing on LinkedIn, because it goes so quickly and the algorithm, it's old within a day, it's just the consistency.
Yeah.
But I understand it because of how you are and what you do. I totally get it. I am absolutely on board with you on that one.
I appreciate it.
Totally. Social media. So obviously you do social media as well for your clients. What do you do? They're organic. What do you do for those?
Yeah, organic. I've done paid as well.
Okay.
Previously, not anymore. I feel like I like the organic side more. It's not that a lot of pressure comes for is it the reach, is it the impression, the clicks, and blah blah blah. And not everyone understands that's not actually the end goal, or they don't have patience to see the results. So if it's someone like me actually who's like very perfectionist, but they don't really understand the marketing side, it's much harder to actually make them understand. If you are set in your own ways, for example, or if you have no like relation to marketing, you are very, I don't know, sales or software focus, or it's a completely different industry, so it's hard sometimes to understand the creative side of campaigns and have the patience to see if the strategy actually works, or update it if it doesn't work. So on organic, at least the people I worked with, they're very receptive, very open to creative ideas that, how I say it, they stand out from the crowd, or they are really open to just take all of my ideas on board, which is great as well.
Are you as a perfectionist on theirs than you are yours?
Yes, but it's easier to have that second opinion, basically, as I would have someone in my team, although I don't really want that because it's my personal brand. So it's easier to have someone to chat with about how do you think this looks like? Is this messaging okay? It's not. I mean, they know better the business. So I don't mind changing things. I don't necessarily like question changing things whilst doing it for me. It's me asking the question, is me answering. So where do I stop, you know? But yeah.
Okay.
I think it's easier. It's easier for me to tell them to niche down as well. It's easier. Everything it's easier. Maybe because I started working like that. So like I worked in marketing for different companies for like over 7 years. So I'm used to being in a team. I'm used to like bouncing ideas with the manager or an executive, or whilst just being me.
It is hard. Like I speak to a lot of agency owners. Obviously, a lot of them are my friends because of my previous roles, and it's really interesting that so many marketing agencies are bad at marketing their own agency. Like they won't do what they tell their clients to do.
I experienced that firsthand, and I spoke with other people as well, actually, and they said the same. I was like, oh, at least I'm not the only one. But for a few months, it felt very weird. I was like, I'm doing this, and then a week later, I'm like, no, I'm doing this, and so on. I was like, stop, basically.
Yeah. It's hard. Like I used to have a few internal battles with some of the stuff that we got up to, Michael, and but I used to say to everyone, look, if we're telling our clients to do this, then we should be doing it as well. Like that is. We cannot stand in a meeting, ask a client for a load of money, and then they go, are you doing it? And I can't stand there and go, no. Yeah. That's obscene. Like I have to practice what I preach. So like content, I believe in bulk batching content, especially video content like this. Like this won't go out for a couple of weeks now. But it means we're ahead of the game and we don't have to stress. So I'm a big believer of things like scheduling tools, although it does affect it slightly. Not enough to worry. And I, even when it comes to social, it comes to any platform at all, I think too many brands need to focus less on the vanity stuff. And even if you got 2 views a month, how much is that actually giving you revenue, or is it bringing in leads, or are you going to a network event and someone goes, oh, I saw your stuff, that's amazing, and then the next time they see you they might have a friend who needs some work, or all that, because otherwise you just go into a hamster wheel and you're doing it for the sake of it, and then you look in a year's time and go, oh, I need some more work now, and then you're in a you're like, how do I get work? So it's trying to always bring it back, and social's not a part, well, I say part-time job, but it takes a lot of time up. And again, so many brands are doing this. It's just pumping out content for the sake of it with no objective. They're sort of just going for the sake of it. Whereas yours is like, I'm showing the world what I can do. I think the only thing you're missing now is just that second part, which is, okay, well, we're doing that bit, which is amazing. How do I just get, how do I get more work in? And I think the niching down is really important.
Yes. Probably once I launch the masterclass, it will be a no-brainer anyway.
Oh, the phone one?
Yeah.
Well, I've actually got a client. Well, I did have in my old agency, and they do wedding photography
On their phone.
on their phone.
I saw someone doing that, and basically you have like less waiting time.
Yeah, so they just edit it. So everyone in the crowd, or
Oh, they're like a
crowd,
QR code and everyone takes
yeah,
a photo.
everyone takes photos and
I
video.
see.
They upload it, and then they edit it. It's amazing.
That's something else, but yeah, from what I've
Re-
seen, but
it's-
that's a good idea.
It's absolutely incredible. Like, I couldn't believe it when I first spoke to him. And he's got, clients all over the world. So literally, obviously everyone will take cameras and photos and videos of the wedding, and then just everyone sends it to this Google Drive, and he edits it up. So there's no massive photography bill, none of that stuff. It's all off people's phones.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah, very cool. Great
And
idea.
he's doing what now? Last time I spoke to him, $9,000 a month.
Just from editing, basically.
Yeah,
From your own home. Cool.
it's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll take that.
Yeah.
Take that all day. So I think I think you've got a nice little gig with the phone.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, I thought there's a gap in the market there. I mean, we all have it in our pocket, and I actually experienced that firsthand when I think I posted about this recently, or I'm about to post anyway. Basically, when I got my first camera, I was so excited. Oh, I'll take so great photos everywhere. I'll carry it with me. No, I can't. It became a chore, really. It's too big to fit in the bag. I have to carry it on top of that. It's heavy sometimes. And I just found myself grabbing the phone every single time. And that's how it all became with the Instagram and everything. So, yeah, it's
Phones
there.
are-
Use it.
Phones are amazing, especially the new iPhones and stuff. And
You would think that a older phone, like the camera from an older phone compared to a new one, it's very big difference, right? I tested an iPhone 6 with an iPhone 8, I think, recently, because my phone got stolen. So I used an older phone, and I was like, well, this camera is actually good. And the 6th one took better photos than the 8.
did you do a LinkedIn post about it?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I actually... No, it was more around Christmas, but
Okay.
I mentioned in the post, it's actually, those are taken with an iPhone 6, so
Do a post about it.
yeah.
Yeah, I think you did one as well on which of these photos is taken with a phone and which is with a camera. I
Yes.
think those sort of posts are good as well. 'Cause
They're
Yeah.
very good.
engaging.
That was a video, so probably I should do that as a carousel or a PDF or something.
Even if you do it every so often and just say which
yeah.
of these, and people can swipe through and
Yeah, yeah.
comment and stuff.
I tested basically the video in that post, but also was more as a recap of my year.
Yeah.
And I posted that on Instagram as well. But yeah, someone actually messaged me the other day asking which one is it. And I told him, I was like, no, what? Really? But yeah.
But that's engaging, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
good content.
Or you take all of them with your phone and then you say which of these is the phone, and then you put in the description that they're all taken with my phone. Hire me for a phone photographer.
But yeah.
So it's because you two are perfectionists. This is why you two know what's going on. But no, in terms of your socials, normally we cane people, but yours is really good.
Am I the only one? Am I the exception?
So far you are the exception, not the rule. Yeah, yours is all very good, very good.
yeah.
I would just say niche down and start changing some of the content to be focused on getting people into your, obviously the masterclasses come in,
Yeah.
getting them into there, and start building that. I think if you build a community around social media managers or marketing managers that you are using their phone for content, I think that's very powerful. Use Sophie at Pretty Little Marketer. Do you know that? Pretty Little Marketer. Do you know them?
Yeah.
Look at what she's done.
I know.
She didn't like to get behind a camera. She hates it completely. She's done very, very well for herself. If you could emulate that, maybe not at scale, but in terms of people that want to use their phone for visuals, for marketing, you won't need many. The great thing with these masterclasses, you don't need loads. You only need a few, and you made a lot of money. You don't need a huge audience. You just need a small amount. So, yeah, I would definitely look at the stuff they're doing there, and not copy, but definitely take some learnings from it. I think, for what you're trying to achieve, I think there's a lot of similarities there.
Yeah, she's actually like I'm following her, and she's like one of mentors, if I could say so, for like the community building. So that's great that
There you
you're
go.
mentioning it.
Yeah, no, she's very good. I was at I was at an event in Ibiza with her last year, and she spoke, and yeah, she was good. She's very nervous.
I can understand that.
Yeah, like I was shocked actually because I was expecting her, to be a bit more sort of out there, but no, she was, she's just a quiet girl. She's lovely, but yeah, she's done very well.
Yeah, well, it depends on the crowd and everything. I mean, it doesn't matter how many times you are doing it. At some point, you'll still feel, before the actual, you'll still feel the same emotions and stuff. I know when basically I'm not from the UK, as you can tell.
No.
So like speaking in public and everything came really hard for me. Like in the first 3 weeks here, I couldn't understand what they were saying in the classroom, the teachers and everything, because of the accent, and everyone was coming from like a different part of the UK. I was like, you all speak differently. I didn't learn this in school, But I just got a job. I didn't really know what it was. And at 7 a.m. I was like, given a PDF, a printed one, we like pick a slide. I was like, what? Oh, you have to present this in front of the whole school. We were going was called the outreach team. So going out to schools and preaching about the university and how they can apply and stuff like that. So that's how I kind of got okay with speaking and everything.
If someone said to me, do that in a different language, I would not be very confident.
It was after a year, so I was okay at that time.
Okay.
But still, it felt very weird. Like the first few times, nightmare.
After a year, I'd still be struggling. I'd tell you that. I'd be really, really struggling. One last question.
Yeah.
And this is the big question now.
Okay.
What's the first thing you're going to change after here?
Change. Probably reaching out to people more. I think I'll do that. But in terms of actually changing on social media, as I said, I'm planning to niche down specifically on phone photography anyway. But I'm still confused a bit. I mean, it's still hard for me to niche down. So like phone photography and visual storytelling can be part of phone photography.
It can be, but it's what's going to resonate with the audience more. So if you think of psychology,
yes.
What's more appealing? Like if you said so for example, I did this video actually. So let's say there's 50 people out there, yeah? Okay. And I said to all of them, are you interested in visual storytelling? The vast majority would say no. But if you said to them, would you like to know how you could get better pictures with your phone? The vast majority would say yes.
True. Very true. Yes. See, that's why I'm keeping the Instagram as it is, just very, I don't know, it doesn't really have a plan really. I'm not posting at the same time nor the same day. Just because these photos, I still like to do them. I'm thinking about stock photography on the side because I have so many photos, honestly. But I couldn't share these on LinkedIn or anywhere else.
Why?
So it's just they don't really say anything to my ideal target customer.
If they're with your phone, you can.
Yeah, they're not. That's what I'm saying. Like the ones that I'm doing with my camera.
Lie. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. This is just a canvas for you.
Yeah, this is more of a personal portfolio diary. Let's call it so.
Yeah,
and the LinkedIn, it's definitely gonna be kept for the workshops and masterclasses.
This is your canvas, and I wouldn't worry too much about that. I just, like I said, if you look at that visual storytelling, again, if you just think of a room of 10, the vast majority would say no. But again, if you said about, hey, look, I could show you how to get better pictures with your phone, everyone would go, yeah, go on then, show us.
Yeah.
It's just the psychology. That's all it is. But then that's you niching down.
Yes, although on the website, I think I can't. I mean,
your website's got loads of stuff.
Yes,
it
would be
you
at
do a
least
lot.
3 different websites.
Where's the website, Michael? Have we got rid of it? No, here it is.
Just a second. Yeah.
I don't understand that photo, if I'm honest.
It's from an event.
Okay.
So content creation, it's for events as well. It's kind of saying you, right? So stand out from the crowd, you.
Oh, okay.
Although it looks very weirdly cropped here on my screen, you could see the crowd behind him as well.
Yeah, so it might just be depending on what
The screen, yeah.
what,
On phone, for example, you can see him in the center, so it's a completely different aspect. Yes.
But no, there's a lot going on here.
I know.
You do a lot.
Nicht da.
You do a lot. What don't you do?
One person.
Yeah.
Try and remove yourself and think, if it wasn't me, what would I do?
Harder to do than
Oh, I know. I'm saying I know exactly.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming all this way. And yeah, Michael will give you a crib sheet
Yes. Thank you. That's really
with
good.
all the stuff we've gone through. Some other links to look at. Some ideas for content, which obviously we've spoken about today, and then you can take that away and hopefully go and reach out to all those agency owners in Derby. When they need a photographer, they're going to speak to you.
Yes, of course. Thank you for all the advice. It was really great being here, both of you. I appreciate with the notes and everything. Literally thought I should have had a notebook.
No, we do that.
And all the compliments as well. And I'll definitely do a lot of what we discussed here.
Perfect. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.